This is your Global Business Report. We're live to you from Lagos, Nigeria's commercial capital. So the central bank on Tuesday raised the country's benchmark interest rate by a whopping 150 basis points to 13% from 11%, 11.5% previously, looking to tame inflation, which are currently at the doorsteps of 17%. In the meantime, political jostlings continue among the presidential aspirants looking to become the country's next chief executive officer, the polled in 2023, even as they provide some soundbites or ideas on how the state of the nation's economy and the market. So, ahead of the various party primaries, Arise Global Business Report has unveiled an independent economic impact index to gauge the level of competence, preparedness, and motivation of the leading presidential aspirants, and you can see those line items right there on your screen. We also have a scoring line, or what we call an index, a ranking of 1 to 10. From 1, it means there's a bottom of the pyramid, no clue, no idea, nothing in place, but the 10 means the strongest. So, which means an exceptional class, execution framework. So we're using this index and the ranking to examine the following aspirants on the platform of the People's Democratic Party. Today, we're looking at 3 contestants on that platform: Peter Obi, Nyesom, Wike, and Aminu Tambuwal. My guest on this political economy discuss is Paul Alaje, Senior Economist at SPM Professionals. A good morning to you, Paul. Good to have you.
Good morning, and thank you so very much for having me.
Thank you for your time. It's the political circuit is getting a whole lot. So let's talk about this. And it is always, as I always put it, this has nothing to do with any preference to any of the aspirants, as it were. So we're just taking them as we just continue to take at them. So there's no preference to anyone. But let's start with Peter Obi. On the discourse this morning, we've got 3 governors. Peter Obi is a 2-time former governor of Anambra State, an alumnus of the Harvard Business School in Boston, London School of Economics, Financial Management, Columbia Business School in New York, marketing management, where he studied and other prestigious colleges. So he's a man who sounds, that's a part of his credentials in terms of his economic standing. This is professional and educational. But my question is, based on this, give me your assessment of the soundbites that Peter Obi is making on the country's fiscal and monetary situation as a former Anambra State governor and an aspirant on the platform of the PDP.
Well, I've followed many of the aspirants, and I've been listening very carefully to what many of them have to say. Mr. Peter Obi has been very heavy, very strong on cutting costs and trying to boost revenue. Recall that President Muhammadu Buhari had said on the presentation of 2019 budget, which he laid in December, around November or December 2018, to the National Assembly, that the biggest challenge his government has, or anyone that will take over from him we have, is not just about insecurity. The challenge will be revenue and revenue management. Mr. Peter Obi has made this to be one of the foremost things in its economic campaign program. And to that extent, I strongly believe, as somebody who has been with one of the major financial institutions in Nigeria, and we have also seen him participated in business, you know, one of the major businesses when it comes to supermarkets or very big supermarkets in our country. I've looked at his profile, and it's quite evident that he's educated and he has relevant study within the economy that will be very useful to economic development and growth. So I would call him far above average. I would be looking at a 7 out of 10 for Mr. Peter Obi. I only hope that most of the things we have heard will translate to policy, and policy will go beyond what we have on paper. It will now go into implementation.
Yes, when you talk about speak right, sound right, I want you to separate the noise from the news and the rhetoric for me in terms of, yes, we have enough blames to go around everyone. But when you talk about the reality on ground, how to create jobs, Someone said it's not enough to point to good examples, but can you be a good example yourself? So if you look at this economic impact index in terms of monetary stability, zero tolerance for corruption, exchange rate and all that, have you heard anything concrete from Peter Obi as an aspirant?
Well, most of the things many of the aspirants are saying, they are not new to us. We have followed them before now that they've indicated interest, and we are still following what they are saying to monitor if they are saying something new. What Mr. Peter Obi is saying that is unique are the things I mentioned earlier. He has also said he's going to fight corruption, even though the method with which he will fight corruption is yet unknown. I've also heard about electronic ways of fighting corruption. He has not said so much about Gen Z, which of course connotes the major proportion of the major voting population. He's not said so much about those, but we have seen him granted interview both in Nigeria and outside Nigeria, and we feel that based on the things he's saying, we want to rate him around 7 out of 10.
Okay, 7 out of 10. Let's talk about the...
To be specific, on economy.
Yeah, we want to find out if you have heard any specifics beyond the rhetoric. That's the point here. We want to find out who is saying something new, who is saying something actionable, different from blame game, making comparisons, what is actionable, what we can do, hitting the ground running. Here we are today, we know where the country. But let's talk about very quickly to the incumbent Rivers State Governor, Nyesom Wike. What do you make of Wike's comments on the country's economy, on corruption? The governor studied political science and administrative studies, and as well as law. He says he's going to promote infrastructure development. But we need jobs as well. We need a whole lot of things. What are you hearing from Nyesom Wike? What's different? What's noise? What's news? What's rhetoric? What's actionable?
Mr. Wike has been saying he wants to build infrastructure. He said he wants to repeat some of the things he has done in Rivers State. I've paid a visit to Rivers State a couple of times, a number of times actually, from the first term and now. And I've also seen some improvement in bridges he has built and some roads that has been rehabilitated by the incumbent governor of Rivers State. He's promising that he will do more if he has more resources. He's also promising that he's going to jail corrupt government official, that is what he would do. He's also saying that he's going to bring Nigeria together, that what is missing in Nigeria is that togetherness, and when that is not there, there will be no peace. Much of what I've heard Governor Nyesom Wike of Rivers State mention, that if he's the president of Nigeria, or why delegates should trust him, is that he has the posture to fight insecurity, that when they hear him, they will be afraid of him. And but the strategy, the method is yet unknown, especially to most of us who have been following comments made by the Rivers State governor.
Beyond those comments, apart from infrastructure, in terms of job creation, ease of doing business, improvements, dealing with very naughty exchange rate, multiplicity, the value of the naira, the ease of doing business on a broadly speaking basis, bringing Nigerians together, not to a football field, but in terms of job creation, insecurity and all of that is a different ball game. So I'm going to bring Nigerians together. I need clarity on that. How much more of all these realities on the ground and actionable points are we hearing from Nyesom Wike and the governor of Rivers State, and how would you rank him on the GBR Economic Impact Index?
Well, I don't think I've heard so much of how jobs will be created beyond government getting people to job. I've not heard so much on how we are going to improve ease of starting business, how we are going to improve ease of power supply. I don't know how so much has not been said about even issues around subsidy and building refineries. I've not heard so much about how we are going to improve exchange rate disparities and the free fall of naira at the parallel market. I've not heard so much about quite a number of things that are really economic concern, not just from Mr. Wike, by the way, but only very few aspirants have been talking about this. You see, the aspirant that I hope delegates we talk about and we vote for is that person that can combine two major pillars of running a nation, which is governance and economy. Unfortunately, many people have been promising us that we're going to do well in governance, we're going to fight insecurity, but when they are not that strong in economy, whatever they built in governance will be swallowed by wrong economic policy or no economic policy, and eventually we might go back to square one or square zero. To rank Governor Nyesom Wike, I will give him around 6 out of 10 on the ranking as I've observed it.
Okay, that's your decision. That's your own view. Okay, so let's talk about Aminu Tambuwal, the current executive governor of Sokoto State, from Usman and Fodio University with a law degree. And of course, he's done a few other things, courses in and outside of the country. And all of that. So he partnered with Anambra State to industrialize Nigeria. He promises to revamp the economy. As they say on Market Street, comments are free, facts are sacred. So what clues for motivation and execution ability to get these things done when you look at our parameters? As you see there, 1 to 7, digitization, selling Nigeria to foreign investors, even selling Nigerians to even Nigerians themselves, by the way. I want to buy into the country, so you need to sell the country. Monetary stability, improvement in infrastructure beyond the rhetoric, and job creation for the youths. Paul, what do you see or get from this presidential aspirant of the PDP from the Northwest Sokoto State?
Well, one of the unique things that Mr. Tambuwal has been talking about is the need for many states to have handshakes. For instance, if Sokoto State partners with Anambra State, we are going to see job improvement in both states, and this should be replicated looking at competitive cost advantage among states. That for me stands out. But quite a number of things I've not heard from Mr. Tambuwal as it has to do with ease of doing business, because many people want to run for office. Unfortunately, many of them don't know they are the chief economist of the nation as the president of the nation. So if the question you ask, I can tell you regarding the understanding of economy by most of these aspirants, I will tell you I will rate them generally low, because I don't think they understand how economy works. And I can say we should go to the number. You and I have done a program on one of your evenings, one of the shows you anchor in the evening regarding unemployment that was released by the National Bureau of Statistics, I think late 2020 or early 2021. And that is, of course, available in public domain. And if you check some of these persons that are coming to run, how they've performed in their state in terms of job creation, in terms of providing opportunity. Now, this is not my rating according to the National Bureau of Statistics. Many of them are rated generally poor, generally low. But the question is, who among the aspirants beyond these 3 candidates has the ability to take Nigeria to a greater level, to take Nigeria to where we hope to be? The question is, we may still keep searching. But from what these candidates are saying, if I read them and I assume that they generally don't have the quality knowledge about economy, maybe they will hire economic advisor to support them or to advise them. But the challenge we've had, which is what we are also experiencing, no matter how brilliant economic advisor is advising a government, and if the government generally don't believe in it, because right now we have economic council and we have some of our best economists in it. But what do we have to, what is the result? 16.82% inflation, 3.1% unemployment. The GDP is struggling to come to have an head shoot above population growth rate, economic quagmire, some policies that we call, some that are outside control. So if you ask me to rate, based on the parameter I've used, based on the level of knowledge of economists, and I want to place Mr. Tambuwal, the governor of Sokoto State, I will also place him on 6. But for me, if you are not doing up to 9, you have not done anything at all. And I will tell you, an economist or a manager of an economy is like a doctor. Unlike a doctor that manages a patient or 2 at a time, the manager of economy is managing a population at the same time. In our case, over 200 million people. If you get it wrong, more poverty, more hunger, more deprivation.
Paul Alaje, I'm going to give you just 1 second to give me a response. Are you hearing more of noise, news, or rhetoric from everyone?
I'm hearing rhetorics, I'm hearing noise, and I'm not hearing innovation. I'm not hearing news.
Paul Alaje, Senior Economist and at SPM Professionals and Public Affairs Analyst. Thank you so much for your time this morning.